Before we move on to the other things quickly though, yeah. When did you first link Stormin?
Stormin like 2001-ish. Yeah. Maybe even 2000, 2001. Yeah. It was like me and Double was in the crew 187 crew with Hyper. And Double was like, yo, Marcus like really wants us to like join Nasty Crew and that. And at the time, I just wanted to make beats, innit? Like we just started to do 187. I didn't really want to join a bigger crew. Do you know what I mean? Like, just trying to find myself. So I was like to Dubs, you know, I'm just gonna stick to the producing thing. And then Dubs went and linked them, man. And then after like I think a couple of weeks in being with them, man, he came to me a couple of times. He's like, yo, man, need you to produce for Nasty Crew. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, and I was like, And he was like, look, let me just come to the yard with the man in a minute, like, and check you in it. And he pulled up with Stormin, him, and Sharky. And yeah, that's the first day I met Stormin, and I was just playing him beats. And then them man just had the idea, and then we put down on the beat, and that was it. Never left each other.
Yeah, man. Sad news about him recently.
It was very sad.
Yeah,
very sad. He was a fighter.
He was
a fighter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, proper. I had him lined up to come here on the podcast, you know, just to have a conversation with him about life, because do you know what? Yeah, he's someone as well that I've seen just in passing for years. He's never really knew me like that. Maybe only until recently, but like years I used to always see this guy. And funny enough, I used to always think, I don't know why, but that scar that he had on his face used to always make me think, right, he looks like some type of superhero, like some character or whatever. I always looked at him as like some type of like a Marvel character. Just weird, some weird thing I had in my head, innit? But then obviously as I started to like pay a little bit more attention, I started to understand like what it was that he was going through. And then even the last couple of years, like seeing how, you know, he was like just being very open about what it was that he was going through. I thought, you know, it would be a good time to just have a conversation with him and just see like what's actually going on with him, but also how he's dealing with what it is that he's dealing with. Unfortunately, it didn't get to happen and that, but yeah, man, like it was sad news to hear about his passing still, man, and like someone who was one of the early MCs in the game as well. You get me?
A lot of people don't know, like Stormin like set pace for a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he's the first one I've seen like with female fans.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like when we was so even in the early days of Nasty, he was the guy, he was the one, you know what I'm saying? Like in school, you know, in the area, he was known, do you know what I'm saying? Like he was the one that everyone wanted to talk to, do you know what I'm saying? Still, he had that thing.
Aura.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he had that aura. And he was a stage show don. Like he knew the stage. Like remember he won like I think it was Cool School. One of them early competitions when he was young. Do you know what I'm saying? Like when like all Maxwell D and all them man used to come to like the youth centre. But Stormin's been like out here doing this MC thing before you could even think of them being a scene.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
do you know one thing you two won't even appreciate, because obviously you were heavily involved. Like I still am a not beyond Grime fan. So like when I get to do sets with certain people, that was a feeling you lot will never understand. Never understand.
Yeah.
So when I woke up and I saw the death of Stormin, people don't get it. Like Grime to me is like the best movie never made. So I'm just still watching the movie and I'm just loving the progress everyone's making within this film.
That's the best thing. That's the best analysation I've heard someone say.
So when
Grime's
Stormin,
the best
film, I
film
swear
that
to God.
Been made.
And when I think about Stormin dying now, I'm thinking about Practice Hours where Trim and Stormin's in the car way over there, and Trim and Crazy, like, you're gonna let him chat to you like that, and then Trim. Bruv, like that part, me and my friend Chris Bell, shout out Chris Bell, we used to sit in his room, wait for like jump on MSN. There was one we had a connect that always got the disses. He sent it to us straight away, and then we're listening to Trim cussing Stormin. Like, that is a massive, massive, massive part of Grime history. People don't even understand how intense that whole situation was. And an individual from that is no longer with us. Bruv, I wanted to cry fucking tears, bruv. I was so hurt. And I don't think unless you're a proper Grime fan, you won't even understand what type of death. Like the way I feel about that situation is I would comfortably turn up to that funeral and not feel like it was because it's Stormin. Like I am a fan of you. Do you know what I'm coming? You know, like when you see them funerals and like for Lisa Left Eye Lopez, for example, and there's just bare people there that never met her. Like I met Stormin once passing by, but I would turn up to the funeral out of the love I have for Grime and the contribution he made. It is mad to me. Like so that fucking definitely. That killed, man. Fam, I can't lie to you.
And you know what? Like when I really like, even we done a little earlier, like a tribute set on Spyro's show and Radio 1 Extra earlier, and a couple man was spitting Stormin's bars towards the end. And it's just like, I don't know, it's a mad thing about when someone's passed, there's like another power comes. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like there's another power. Because you know, like the day that he passed, when I was, like when I found out, I was told to keep it, keep it brief, so you know what I'm saying? So I didn't really post anything, whatever, and then I was on the phone to like double for like an hour, just like talking. Then by the time I come back off my phone, I clicked on my Instagram and there was not a post that wasn't him.
Yeah.
Telling you, man.
Like, I mean, there was not a post on my thing that wasn't him. None. Like, I'm talking from clothing brands to link up to people, to everyone. Yeah, and then I looked on Insta snaps and then I see people like spitting his lyrics and like having clips of his lyrics. And I was just like, I really like, I definitely appreciated him when he was here, and obviously I knew he was going, so you kind of know. But like that day when I was listening to Back to Everything, man, I just realised like this guy was a powerhouse, man. Like, and sometimes it's sad because it takes for something like that to happen, for everyone to have the conversation. You know what I'm saying? Or for you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's a dark situation why everybody has to realise like something so great. You know what I'm saying? But he was a don, man. Like he already smashed it in the grime scene, and I feel like he done so much in grime. When the grime started to change a bit, I don't think maybe he didn't like some stuff, and I feel like the drum and bass thing felt like more of a home for him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And he went and he became like within 2 years he became
one of the dons.
I was going.
I could see how that would happen as well, though. You know why? Because you see, like remember, like before Garage and that, like Jungle was kind of like another thing that we had that. I think it had a lot to do with the fact that, like the samples, like the reggae samples and the dancehall samples that was in Jungle and whatever, it was something that I personally connected to. My dad connected to as well. So I could easily see for someone like him that was like, like when the music started to go a little bit funny or whatever, Jungle was something I used to kind of fuck with. It's got that grit still. Jungle's got that grit. Yardman even though Jungle doesn't so much exist in that form so much today, because it's more drum and bass or whatever.
It's a bit harder.
But the sound's a bit
the
different.
reggae's pulled back a bit. The reggae elements are pulled out a bit. There was a lot more reggae elements in it back in the day.
There's enough. Do you know? I did a Instagram timeline. Of like one of the reasons why I love instrumentals so much. Because I was thinking about it the other day. I love instrumentals. And when I DJ, I DJ at night a lot, So like when I'm playing at night, enough times I play the instrumentals, and someone came up to me, like someone that was working there, he noticed it. He said to me, come over, and he was like, I love the fact that you play instrumentals. And that made me feel good, because I thought, he pays attention. So I was thinking to myself, where does it come from? Like, where does where does my love for instrumentation come from, Then I tracked it back to like, obviously my dad used to be a DJ, used to be a sound man or whatever, I used to always hear dub music in the back. So there would be a version of a tune, but there'd be a dub version of that. So I love the dub, dub version. Now I still listen to dub versions of tunes or even the old ones. Then you had like, for me, when I was mad young, Jungle, but then I'm hearing like Capleton in there, and I'm hearing like other little
mad in there.
Sounds and that in there. Do you get what I'm saying? And like literally that travelled all the way through till now, where like you play me a proper instrumental and I could just vibes to that.
But even I reckon that in your household, without knowing, I know they play a lot of jazz.
Yeah,
in my
yeah,
house,
yeah, yeah,
jazz
my
was
mum's on that,
when I was 10. I remember there's one jazz song. It was like, and we used to be vibing when that came on in the house. There's no lyrics on it whatsoever, but the energy you got from that thing there.
Instrumentation is like freedom, innit?
Yeah, of course.
It's like part of freedom. Like, I think, and that's why you got to look back to as well. A lot of the producers, why they're so great. If you look at the greatest artists in the world, they had some of the greatest producers behind them.
Yeah.
You can't. It's the beat. You know, most of the, not to take anything away from artists. You know what I'm saying? But the beat, the most important part. You know what I'm saying? When you hear when Drake and Giggs Kiss My Teeth, it's when you hear that beat,
fam,
you're paying attention. Do you know what I'm saying?
Do you think that obviously you have the hierarchies of producers that everyone knows, the bait ones in it, that people just hear and they just know in it, but do you think that people don't pay enough love and attention to the people who are actually making the music?
Not at all.
In terms of the instrumentation.
It used to be like that. There used to be the respect for the Quincy Joneses and the Pharrells and the Nerds and stuff, and the Timberlands and the Drakes and people like that. I think that's become a lot less because I've realised that in grime also that the DJ used to be much bigger.
Yeah.
Used to care a lot about the DJ. The DJ was massive, and the DJ used to go and play the song, so the artist didn't have to be everywhere spitting their lyrics, and the DJ would actually make the artist big. Yeah. Then the artist will become big, but the DJs were big already.
Yeah.
Then it became
that's parallel to hip hop as well.
Everybody started, DJ's a bit too expensive now, so man just write lyrics, innit? So then everybody wanted to become an MC because you didn't have to buy the vinyls, you didn't have to have the decks, you didn't have to have the set, you know what I'm saying? So there became a flood of MCs, and then the stage started to look like 1,000 man, and then you couldn't see the DJ. So then the DJ was basically non-existent most of the time.
Yeah.
In a lot of the music and the producers, whereas before you'd have DJ producers. So a man would make a beat, but he would also be the guy that mixes the tune. You know what I'm saying? So he would have the ratings. That's the same way my name come from. I'd mix, but I would make the beats. You get what I'm saying? And I think as well, I purposely went out the way to make myself have a character for my production. See, people knew who I was as a producer before anything. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I knew you as a producer. There was one beat actually that you had years ago
called Chinaman.
Nah, it wasn't even a grime beat, but it was maybe 96 BPM. Yeah, and it was, I don't even know what it was, bruv. I don't even know what it was. And I know you had Bear Man
Chinese samples. It got Battlefield. Bear Man was just rapping. Yeah. Battlefield. Yeah. Yeah, because a lot of people say that as well. It's it was not really you see grime. Yeah, I don't think it's a BPM in it. It's 140 in the majorities in that thing.
I agree with you.
Before that got agreed, or before they called it grime.
Before that came into conversation.
Yeah, before that came into conversation, we was making all sorts of stuff.
Man.
That rhythm that you're talking about there. Yeah. Everyone from the grime scene was still spitting over it. Do you know what I'm saying? On them versions. So
and is it a grime tune?
I saw that as grime.
It was grime. It's grime. Yeah.
I saw it as grime as well.
I didn't know what that was. I just saw that as grime.
And if you think about a lot of the Dizzy and Wiley,
they were all 140.
Yeah, but think about the ones that were those 160 ones.
Yeah,
I'm about to get live all. All them skippy things, they're not 140, they're 160, 175. So almost jungle tempo.
Are you gonna get jungle?
Oh wow. That's Battlefield. Yeah. There's another one. It's that might not even be on the internet, fam.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find it.
That might see the other one that you're talking about. That might not even be on the internet. That's how mad.
That's how the grime sets work.
Nah, this ain't it.
This ain't it. I know what one you're talking about. It's got a mad piano sample. Yeah, and it just loops over.
Okay.
And everyone's. But I got all that on my hard drive if you ever need any of that. But them type of thing. That's the thing as well. There's so much music because remember now everything's on digital streaming that ain't been released. That people can't find, that ain't on YouTube. Imagine how many lost hard drives and how many unopened drives that producers and people that have that didn't upload in this day and age.
Yeah. That's true.
That haven't been uploaded now. There's
bare young dot rhythms. bare young dot rhythms on the flipping radio was so sick because you just waited for one of them to drop like bazooka, like dun 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
Young Dot was dangerous.
Fam, he was killing it. And then Early Maniac, get out, fam. Early Maniac was a madman. I said, I don't know what.
I think my favourite grime instrumental is Creeper though. I fucking love
Creeper's
that.
very dangerous.
Oh god.
Grime instrumentals was so bad, boy.
I don't think they're the same anymore either. Like I was saying this,
they're well mixed now as well.
I was saying this, yeah.
It takes me that rawness from me. Don't mix it like that.
I was saying this the other day, like the beauty in like the unfinishedness.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like.
Oh my god. You know what? Yeah. Every time I hear that, it takes me back to one
what's the name of the
particular place.
What's that called again? Oh, there's too many rhythms.
Anyway,
but the beauty of instrumental.
You know what I'm talking about, innit? It's a Rush Squad beat, but
Rapid is
Anna, not Anna.
No, it's not Anna.
It's not Anna, but it's on that same year. Yeah, it's on that same.
Well, who's it by?
You know, by Rush Squad, but
see Rush Squad's instrumental CD.
Rapid is a bad boy.
I got it on there, I think.
You got it, yeah. It's a mad thing as well. That
fam.
That's a mad.
Rapid
What's it
was
called?
on, fam.
I think it's called Get Together.
Oh yeah, I think I've seen it here.
See Rapid, fam. Cause them beats were on ketamine, fam. They were moving mad, fam. I couldn't believe this. Who's that?
That's an advert, isn't it?
Oh
yeah. Oh, Chip did it. Remember? Chip did it. Who did he
Chip,
do bury on this? Was it Tiny?
Oh, yeah.
No, he buried. No, was it Bugsy? It was Bugsy. It was Bugsy.
I'd like to tell you I'm wearing Tiny's t-shirt today.
Yeah, that's
I have
cool, man.
officially switched.
No, it wasn't. It weren't Tiny. It weren't Tiny. It was Bugsy. It was Bugsy when they were going back and forth. Because that's one thing that Chip's always been good at.
I think Chip did get him on that.
When it comes to picking instrumentals, he's amazing. He's amazing
Chip
with it.
sings separate, man.
It's like, do you know what it's like, Chip Scott? I think it's like Chip Scott, yeah. It's like he's got a folder that says on his computer that says war. So anyone that tries it, there's about 20, 25 instrumentals on there, and it's like whoever's ready, I'm ready.
See, I don't know if you ever been around Chip when he's in the studio working, but this guy is calculated. Like it's almost like gets all spiritual. You know what I'm saying? Like, he starts. Everyone's got. Listen to the beat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a joke. Like, even when he done Leave Me Alone, that beat, the what he done with the KSI.
Yeah.
Remember? Patrick, what have you done?
Oh yeah.
No, that wasn't that was over another beat. It's that Leave Me Alone. He done KSI where he said something about the KSI. If you think you can come here.
It's I.
Something like KSI, yeah. That beat, when like just the way he's put it together, he's talking about like if you give my man the mobiles, I'm gonna smash my mobiles. It's just like everything about like the way he done it. It's like if you wanted Grime to be clean cut, and really sound cut and mixed, it should be like that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, because you still get the snappiness and the dirt. Like, but again, he was picking old beats. He knows his beats.
He's an old beat.
He knows.
You can see that. Like he's like a nostalgic kind of
beat selector. Yeah.
How are you gonna let a man flipping make you lose your marbles though?
No, you know
what? I told you yesterday, fam. Your delivery, fam.
I'm gonna tell you straight. Yeah, your message was amazing, but it got lost in the passer.
But the thing is, the reason what you gotta understand, which I told Poet yesterday, is like if I didn't handle it that way, no one would be listening to my message.
That's true.
So,
but even then, I don't think people pay too much attention to the message. I think some people did.
Some people.
I think a lot of people just was like, oh yeah, Jammer was getting mad, and it's like, but no, the message in that was actually, the message was really good. But I just felt like there was a teachable moment in there that got lost a bit.
But Chucky, I'll be real with you.
For those who don't know, Jammer,
DJ Argue.
he ironically had an argument with DJ Argue. How did anyone else point that out? Did anyone point that out?
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say because that is an amazing piece of irony.
Chucky, I have to. I've smoked too much weed. I'll forget that point you made about it getting lost to some people. In my mind right now, I'm thinking about it. Them people never would have heard the message anyway. So it doesn't matter. Me, Jammer, I'll be real with you. If I saw a Jammer interview, I wouldn't listen. I've listened to Jammer bare times my whole entire life. I don't need to listen to an interview. I can phone him. When I've heard he's gone mad, I've paid attention. Then I've heard it. I've listened to it 15 times now. The first 6 times I was like, Jammer's lost the plot. What the fuck's wrong with him? I phoned you. I said, nah, I think Jammer. I just think he's gone crazy. I listened to it another time. I'm thinking the same
Jammer,
thing.
I thought I'm thinking. When I first heard, I'm not gonna lie. When I first watched it, I thought.
But what's that? Don't stop me because I want to forget. I smoked too much weed. Then I said that. By the 10th time I've listened to it, I've said, "Oh my god, it was just a delivery." That's the only problem, the delivery. So if I didn't hear about the madness, I would never even heard the message in the first place. So now that you said that, I fully understand. Understand.
It's like if I went on there and I articulated myself perfectly and I just explained it very calmful and peacefully and got
no one would have cared.
No one would have watched the interview. So I didn't deliberately go and have an argument with him either.
Not, yeah.
But what I was trying to say, my points was like a lot of things are going on. Do you know what I'm saying? And a lot of people are going out there and taking fizzy drinks of billion-pound companies and, you know, giving them content and artful and things and doing things for them when, you know, these people have money to invest into the scene and they should be investing back into the scene. That's one of the messages. And another thing is like we're in a time where everything's just very quick and it's just throwaway. And if we don't kind of come out of that cycle, we're not really going to have anything left after it. Do you know what I mean? And as somebody who's seen, remember, I've seen waves. This is like my 4th wave. You know what I'm saying? So I've seen it from like when Garage and Bushkin and So Solid wave and even the Dynamite. I've been there with, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Seen that wave, then I've seen the Dizzy wave, then I've seen our wave. Do you know what I'm saying? The Dizzy wave and our wave is the same kind of time. But then it expanding into the world, then the Tinchy and Dappy wave, what I realised and what I didn't get to say on that show was that basically in all of these waves, all of this time that we've all been working and sweat and blood, sweat and tears, none of these corporate companies wanted to put a penny into anything that we done, right? And now everybody's worked their ass off and got it to somewhere. We're going to go and sell it back to, and I don't think it's a colour thing, it's a class thing. We're going to go and sell it back to the higher class person. And if you're going to do that, at least cut the right check, guys, if you're going to do that, do you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like we always sell ourselves short on things like that, where instead of like, I'm not saying telling what everybody to do, I don't think like I know everything, but I just feel like there should have been some, you know, companies owned by us, I don't like the word controlled, but you know, we need to start owning stuff. We create all this stuff and then nobody owns anything.
There's no ownership.
You know, there's no ownership, and
I can't argue with that one bit, bro, because that's my whole thing. I have to own my shit. That's why even the other day, I won't go into too much details because I respect the situation to a certain extent, but I got into an argument with a company because we got information, and as far as I'm concerned, I've got 2 kids. You've got your prerogative, I got my prerogative. If you ask me to provide a service for you, then I'm going to provide the service that I provide here for you over there. Yeah. If you want me to compromise it, you have to cut me a life-changing check. Because why am I going to compromise who I am for a brand that doesn't give a shit about me? That don't even make sense in my head at all.
It's out there. And
do you know what? Yeah, that's always been our biggest problem, though. Like, one of our biggest problems have always been ownership in all different aspects of life. Because, you know what, and we've said this many of times before, but in terms of like, when you look at gentrification, that shit affects us so hard because we don't own shit. You see, like when you go to Southall, in West London, which is not far from where I live, that's an Asian area. Try gentrify that. They own shit. The majority of a lot of the people that are down there own their properties. They own stuff. We don't own stuff. So
but then a counteracting argument for that though is the fact that about 100 years ago we were owned.
Oh,
so
yeah,
imagine the mentality of people that are being owned now to influence a generation.
I don't disagree with that.
I'm not saying we haven't, but at the same time,
but we know better now though.
As a people,
it doesn't matter if you know better though. Some things are installed. It doesn't matter.
Of course it does,
bro. The Willie Lynch theory still applies today, so it doesn't matter.
It does.
But bro, some things are just like. you can know better, but sometimes unless you're consistently around it, it's very difficult for you to adapt to a situation. For example, I know niggas that shouldn't be selling weed and they should try and do something else, but we grow up in it. Like, our idols are drug dealers. Our idols are the guy that's got the VW with the fucking spinning rims. Like, that's the shit that we want. So we just don't care about it. So when it comes to the whole situation, me talking about being owned and being slaves, we don't think about owning stuff because the generation before us didn't own nothing, and they're not going to install that in us. We're going to have to go out and seek that knowledge and then install it in us. And by the time you do that, you're about 20.
But that's what we're doing.
We're the first generation.
And that's what I'm talking about from the first generation perspective now. I'm not talking about from now.
No, I'm not talking about from past that now. We are the living proof
that we can own
that. Exactly.
And that's
but then again, back to my point. Sorry, back to my point again. That's why we need to. That's what I'm trying to say.
Even then, are we? Even then, are we? For example, we have to sell, a lot of artists, from my understanding, have to sell a perception that they're not signed, but they are, so they are owned.
Yeah, but
there's a lot of people spreading argument.
No, but the argument, but what I'm spreading is we're talking about screaming independency and knowing it and all of this, and we know better.
No, there's in between. There's in between.
That's a different argument.
But I'm saying there's loads of examples of people that still are not owning their own things. Like, we still haven't got, because at the end of the day, you say if you know better, you do better. But if we're not doing better, do we know?
Sometimes you have to do a deal.
Of course you do.
Sometimes you have to do certain things to get to that stage to then own it. Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying just, you have to do things and learn. I've done deals before in my life and learned from mistakes and come. But now I'm at the stage, I'm not going to do a deal unless it's a certain P that we can go and get that A, B, and C.
Of course.
It don't make no sense. You know what I'm saying? And if you're going to do a branding partnership or something like that, man have to know their worth, innit? Like, man have to know if they're tweeting about a brand or they're tweeting a clothing top for a big brand, that's a $2,000 a tweet.
Yeah, of course.
Man have to know things. Like, man, and this is education that a lot of artists that are growing up don't know. They're just going to get the jacket, be happy that the PR person phoned them, put it on, take the picture, excited, and that's it. That PR person's getting a pay rise. They've just done a job. This in the new video. The video just got 1 million views. No piece has been transferred.
Yeah. That is so mad.
That's why I go to the point of, like, now that we know this information, we have to teach them about this. It doesn't mean that you know, you could go and you could take 100 cows or flipping whatever to the water. They're not all going to drink it. But it's whatever you decide to do with that information is whatever you decide to do with that information. At a point, that information wasn't there for us. So we didn't know that. So we didn't know any better. But we're having a conversation now, and like, the information is there. So now we can provide that information 100%. So that these things can now change so that we can start owning stuff. Because we don't own that. And it's been like that for time.
100%.
That's not our fault.
I just want
to be clear. I want to be clear. I was not ever saying that was our fault. That was a circumstance that we were put in.
Dragged in.
Exactly. So because of that, now we have the information. Now it's what we do with that information.
We should go back to Africa though, and just go, and that's our land. This aren't our land, so we're never gonna own anything anyway. But
I'll be honest,
that's a separate conversation.
I feel like black people in London, this is our land, because when we go, if you was to go back
I feel
to
like that
Africa,
too.
you're an English boy.
Can you see the Chatham man? They chased it back to the Chatham man the other day. The first people in England was black anyway.
But this is us.
Do you know why I feel like we could say, sorry, Jammer. Do you know why I feel like we could say that it is partly our land? I know that we don't own it really, but that same example of what we were saying before at the live show, that first boat that came here, 1930 Windrush Empire, that was Caribbeans that came to this country, not particularly because we was dragged here, but it was because, you know what, there was just a war in this country, in England, there was a war here, and they were throwing job opportunities at black people, so there was nothing in Jamaica. So it's like, you know what, if you've got carpenters and all of that type of stuff, and you're saying that there's job opportunities, they're coming here, they're helping build the economy. Do you get what I'm saying? So since 1930, maybe even before that, all the way up till now, we have contributed massively to building up the economy. So I feel like we can say, we do, a part of this is us.
But, and I'm saying morally, you're speaking from the right perspective. I can't argue with you one bit. But in theory, if we're talking realistically, like,
if you're talking about
planet
on paper,
Earth, what's really happening, I know we take our money contractually. I know I can take my money back to Jamaica, like I've done.
We
Like
never do that.
But hear me out. Well, I have done it. I don't know about anybody else. I've got a piece of land, and if I want to build a yard, I can build a yard. Do you know who I have to consult? Me, because I'm the boss. If I buy my yard, which I'm trying to do right now as well within this country, if I want to get an extension, I've got to contact the council, then I need to get approval from the road, and then I've got to get the...
exactly.
Blood, how can I own the house, but I can't even put an extension? That
You
don't
can't
make
even-
sense.
Exactly. You can't even put a fucking shed in your back garden without fucking... Yeah. But you know what? Even on that, off that, even in terms of ownership again, and investing back into us, Caribbeans haven't been great at doing that.
No.
The best who have been
are better.
Africans.
Yeah.
Like, statistically, they are the ones who invest the most back into their own country.
Yeah, because you know what? They left there to go back. We was taken from there and dashed somewhere else. So we ain't thinking about going back to invest and build there.
And also, there's a lot of Africans in comparison to Caribbean, so there's going to be more examples of success over there.
But
Like,
remember, the Caribbean is a lot
the
smaller
point is,
too. So it's
we've
like,
got no reason to go back. Obviously, through a lot of like people found like Rasta and stuff like that, and found their roots and stuff, and knew they was going to go back to Africa at some point. But
I'm going back.
a lot of West Indians, they don't feel like they can just take this 10 racks and go back to Africa and buy land and start building it up. They're actually genuinely West Indian. I don't think West Indian people actually think that. They might think it to go back to Jamaica and do it, but even Jamaica, we don't own that. You know what I'm saying? It's not our, it's not
most
really...
of the big businesses in Jamaica are owned by
Chinese,
people,
yeah.
So then maybe we don't even own anything. So what can we own?
We do, or we could own stuff, but maybe there's an element of naivety where we, you know, maybe there could be an argument to say, maybe there's an argument to say that, right, we've done things out of love so much, someone has come in and we don't even realise that they have an agenda because we're just dealing with love, and then all of a sudden now next
Like
they're
you in
planning.
radio when Jumper attacked you.
Yeah, exactly, and they call that colonising. That's colonising.
See, you're right. I was just about to say that to you in another way. Like that exact thing what you said. Like, black people, and I don't, this might be an uproar thing as well.
Careful, cuz I'm trying to stand right over here, man. I'm done with the drama.
I think...
I'm joking, guys.
I don't think they're, like, as inbred racist. Like, I don't think black people wake up and feel like they look at other races and be like, I want to take what they got, or like invade them, or like, we're just blessed. Like, if you look at a lot of history, we've helped a lot of people. Do you know what I'm saying? Whereas, like, and that's back to why we might not even want to own shit, because it's like, it's just the earth. We don't really
I can't lie to you, as mad as that sounds, it makes sense, bro. Because when you think about this is the reason why I gotta fuck with you, This is why I gotta fuck with you. No, fam. You see Christopher Columbus? Do you know if like we didn't really speak out about this thing, that man would still be a hero today.
Yeah.
Christopher Columbus is a European man that went over, killed off a bag of people, and brought his people and said, take the riches, take whatever, go back and say we discovered it. Like, that, in my mind, to be taught to a 13 to 16-year-old is fucking heartbreaking.
And the only reason I know that he was lying when I read that in school was through Rasta music, and my mum was like,
exactly.
Christopher Columbus, he's a blasting like praise him. Yeah, so...
Fam,
right.
that tune's hard.
I'm going to play it on the way to
That
the dance
tune's
store.
hard,
I've got to go try fix this thing, but... Yeah, like, I'm saying... I really do believe there's a part of, like, and this is just me talking as my individual human as well, I've just never been that angry with other people to want to take their shit. Even if I know that's happened to us, I don't hold it to, if I see another white man in the room, I don't feel like he's done something. It don't resonate with me like that, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like it's cool. Like, even now we're very easy to be like, it's blessed. We're not trying to carry it on.
But it's alright for you because you got money.
Are you making assumptions?
Listen,
cuz.
You know what,
Fam, you were so angry, fam. After that statement you just made right now, imagine they just cut you saying, well, I'm just blessed. Fam! I'll be like, that meme is cold, cuz.
No, but you know what, literally.
Do you know what? A part of me feels like he weren't massively disagree. I feel like there was a big misunderstanding, you know?
There was. What happened is when I went onto the show, beginning, when he was doing these big ups off the phone call, in the gaps, I was like, big up your uncle.
Yeah, I saw
big up
that.
your auntie. Big up. And from there, he looked at me. He's thinking I'm mugging him off, innit? But that's just my character, innit? I'm in a good mood. I've come there. I'm just trying to make the show fun, innit? This is entertaining.
That's how you are. I know how you are.
That's how you are. Yeah.
And obviously, when I started to talk about my mixtape, I'm saying, couple ballet dancer MCs are about. Obviously, that we come from grime culture, so the culture is.
Oh, but I thought you were referring to someone. I can't lie. No, I felt like you were referring to someone.
I've just dropped a tape, innit?
Yeah.
I just dropped a tape, so I'm just trying to say I'm the hardest, innit?
Yeah.
Right now, that's what this thing's based off of. That we was talking about back to the room, innit? You want to be the hardest in the room. I'm dropping a tape. I'm trying to say I've got the hardest tape, innit?
Oh, so you weren't saying, because I thought you're saying it on the perspective of I'm speaking about either someone specific or a specific group of people.
No.
That's what I thought you were coming from.
I'm just saying I'm the hardest, and I heard some ballet dance man, and then he was like, who? I said, nah, you play them, man. But I was still busting joke. I'm still trolling. Through that whole first half of the interview, I was trolling him. Okay. Do you get what I'm saying? So I'm saying, nah, they're your bridges, man. You play them, man, there, man. But my thing, that's the truth, cuz. Then he had a chip on his shoulder. Because he's thinking, I'm dissing him, all of these new gen MC, I don't know, or whatever the MCs that he spits on that radar. You know them new guys that, he's mostly thinking, I'm dissing Hell in a Cell. You know what I'm saying? He's mostly thinking that, innit? But I'm just saying, man, I do ballet dance MCs. You get me?
You know what though? I didn't see it from that perspective. Where I thought the misunderstanding in that conversation was, is that like obviously he mentioned to you about the money thing or whatever, which he shouldn't have said. But I think that like when he was saying that, like artists need money, I think he probably took it that you were saying, that if you're not doing something for a big corporation, then if you're doing it for us, then you shouldn't be asking for money, period. So he probably took it as, even if you're doing something that is like where you're making mad dough, you shouldn't ask me for money. Whereas what you weren't saying, correct me if I'm right, you were saying, provide, if it's a free thing or whatever, if I'm doing something for the love of the thing, you shouldn't really be asking me for mad dough or anything like that. Exactly. But obviously, if I'm making big dough, then I'm gonna start peeling off. I think he kind of saw it more as like, nobody should be asking for money, and I think that's where the conversation started to go mad because he's thinking but it's okay if. So like, there's young youths out there that do need money and that. You're not saying that they don't need money. Again, you're saying that that's. But okay
my point again was that these same youths or some like people will go to the other billionaire brand.
Yeah, and do something
and for free in front of their logo, everything, and then come to me who's been out here digging the pavements for man to walk.
Yeah.
So I don't understand it. So I don't get that. Maybe someone else can explain that to me. I know what it is. It's the same community. It's that same thing. It's the black thing. They've walked into the one in the logos, the Mercedes, the thing, all the things black people buy into. It's all the logos, isn't it? Right. So when they see the logo, they think if they stand next to the logo, they're gonna bring their brand up to their thing. Not thinking, no, hold on. If I just do this is the certain way of doing it. I'm gonna become a brand like that brand on the wall.
Yeah.
But what they're trying to do is they're trying to skip it by standing next to the brand.
Short-term success instead of a long-term grind, and you just go like, you mean I can get that Benz tomorrow? Later.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Now I understand because you're next to that logo. In my head.
So that's what they think. They think, okay, and then maybe that company's going to give them more work after the prospects of that big company. So worldwide, you know what I'm saying? But what they do is they do nothing. They take the content, they put it out, and not really nothing happens after that. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's my thing with it. And then on top of it, you lot have got budgets throughout the year to do these projects. This was to help our scene. Don't. Why are you going to go and do a battle with no credible linked up guys when you could have just come and said, all right, you know what, there's 30 racks, give that some to your company and break off the artist and make this wicked, we give you a sick venue, do something sick for Grime. Then I would feel like you actually want to invest in the culture. Like some American brands, you see them, they do invest into hip hop properly. They do proper events, they put proper money into it, and they push into hip hop. And I think that's the stage that we need to get here. We need to understand that we've got the biggest music, we've pushed it, we sell the most tickets, we're popping, we got the most slang, fashion, everything. And if you want it, you got to pay.
I fuck with that, boy. I fuck with that. I can't lie. So now I understand. Now I understand everything properly.
Yeah.
Now I get it. Now I get everything.
And that's where I'm at with it. And even if it's not me, even if I don't benefit from it, can you lot please benefit and just buy me a Twix?
Yeah.
Because it's not me. This is what I kept telling him. It's not. I'm not trying to say this for me. I'm saying it for you. I've watched Dons get bumped up on bumped up on bumped. It needs to stop now. There's other people in, and everybody's getting a job because their uncle's friends with that guy. Do you get what I'm saying? So, and again, I told it's not. To me, it's not a race thing. I started to say it's a class thing now. It's because where you are in life, you lot all hang around with each other there. So you're gonna get that job before I'm gonna get that job.
So they're gentrifying our scene.
Yeah.
It's mad.
So now you're the A&R for the scene because you know my man's uncle. Now.
So who's the Costa Coffee in our scene then?
Everybody knows who they are. You know what I'm saying?
There's Costa Coffees in us.
Everyone knows who they are. Everyone knows who they are. But you know what? They're not even the biggest problem.
Who's the biggest problem?
We are. Because the minute that we realise who we are and what we're worth and what we stand for, it will stop.
Yeah.
And, I think that's only going to happen with people coming together. Do you know what I'm saying? Certain individuals. And there's only certain man that can get certain man together. Yeah. So, it's a long shot, but it's a shot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And to be honest, because that argue was prodding me a lot, like I said, that the way I'm putting this together and trying to, give you the parts of what I was trying to say, which is exactly what I was saying on the day, but it's just much more passionate and just coming out. Floodgates were just coming out.
Yeah, you was all taking off the headphone and that, and then, you know what I mean? It was
because you know what? I really did this thing for no P.
Yeah.
For no money, like... You've been there. You see, man, coming. You see me looking young.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? So, and you've seen my progression firsthand. So you could have an opinion more so on it than my man. Do you get what I'm saying? Because you've seen it with your eyes, and not only me, you've seen what's.
I felt like that was it as well. I felt like it was another thing as well. You're looking at DJ argue. No disrespect to the guy. You're thinking, I don't know how long you've been here. I don't know who you are. So for you now to come and challenge me like this. Are you crazy, fam?
You're gone mad.
Yeah, I thought that also...
That's what I think a lot of it as well.
I get that as well. I get that because obviously as well, like, it seemed like... And obviously there's no disrespect. I'm not saying it as a disrespectful way or anything like that, but it seemed like the £100 thing was a sensitive moment because it was almost like, like you're trying to... Did you take it in a way where it's like, you're trying to profit off the scene? Like... And not for the better of the people, because when he said something about but you charged £100 or whatever, that seemed to be the thing that was like, hold on a minute, you like, what the fuck, what's going on here? Do you even know how much it costs? But that's why I said that was a teachable moment, because there would be people that might have heard about all of that, but they just didn't even know. So that's a good conversation to have there. This shit actually does cost bare dough, and in fact, even though you're thinking that I'm getting £100 per person or whatever it is, the reality is by the time I've paid for this, that's you. You get me? I've just broken even. That's it. That's it.
And the event's on, it's successful, and you lot can have it forever.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I'm saying? So,
whereas everyone now's looking at you like, all that money's going to you. All that money's in your pocket.
Exactly.
Jammers.
By the time I walked out that building, I didn't have any more of that money that got paid on that door. That went straight to P&H. Yeah. Right, and whatever the venue costs were, security hire. I done giveaway bags. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And people was messaging me saying deeply inside, like my DMs and writing long. I got emails, man, like 3-page long stuff. People was like, you should be charging people to come on there. See if it was an ideal world. See the labels that assign grime artists that want to do that are good. They're meant to be paying Lord of the Mics to get their artists on our platform, even if it's not a clash. If you want to tune on it, you got to pay for this spot. Because what you think, man, I've been doing all of this for time for you guys to come in and use our platform.
I can't argue that.
Right? So I know what I'm meant to be doing, but I'm not doing certain things because I didn't want to sell the product short for money. Do you get what I'm saying? And I know that I'm meant to be charging certain label. Like, even before when Lady Sovereign was out, like, certain things like, I'll speak it. Do you get what I'm saying? The label would give man money for her to come and sit in the studio next to man. Big up Sovereign because you're my G. Like, we've known each other for years now. But at that time, you was coming through and they wanted that affiliation. I used to get £1,000 for you to come and pull up and sit in my basement.
Just give you a bag for that?
Just to jam.
Is it?
Yeah. So
to jam with Jammer.
I know, but I know the power of the affiliation. I know the power of like what this thing is, fam. Like, don't let nobody twang you. And you know, into not thinking that you are what you are.
Why can't you be this jammer all the time?
Because it's hard to be this one. I got Malcolm, man. I got Jamaica.
Oh my God!
So I'm trying to deal with all those guys.
You know what, before we bounce out here, let's just flip in, talk a little bit about Stormzy and his achievement that he got the other day. Humongous look. Like, if I'm going to be honest with you, I never even used to watch the Brits really. Do you know when I started watching the Brits? I started watching the Brits really from the Kanye moment actually. That was like, and then obviously
what So Solid. Did?
When Kanye brought out all the man them and that. Like, I heard about all of that. Oh yeah. He brought out all the man them and that, so I watched that. But other than that, I never really paid too much attention to the Brits. We spoke about that enough times.
You know, and we have, and every time I speak about it, I always tell you, I was getting my hair done, and I got the phone call, and I didn't answer it because I was like,
oh yes!
And Vuj got the phone call, and then afterwards,
I remember you
Skeppy phoned me again, and told me why he phoned me before, and then Vuj texted me sad face. I was like, oh my God, I could have been on the stage!
That was the Kanye thing, yeah?
I was fuming. I was the first man on Pow, fuming. I couldn't believe I wasn't there. Oh, fam. That's like the biggest L of my life, cuz.
Yeah, like, I think like the Stormzy thing, sorry to cut, but back to it, it's like, you know, put everything aside. Forget everything else, even forget the music to an extent. Just what it shows in progression of culture in this country, that, you know, a black male can win best male artist and best album. Because for Brit school, for people that went to the Brit school, you lot do know that, right?
I didn't know that.
Right.
What, the Brit, is that where the whole, is
That's
that?
where it come from.
It's owned by the Brit
school. Oh really,
school.
Yeah? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so we've gone in with nothing to do with it, but we've murked the world so much, and not, I say we because I speak of the scene as we,
of course.
You know what I'm saying? But the music has just pushed forward so much that it's just had to be accepted and it's kicked down every door. And, you know, Stormzy's played a big part in, you know, taking it to another stage in that aspect, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, just like, I think, you know, we need to get to the stage as well where, you know, everything's a positive, man. We need to stop looking for the negatives in things, you know what I'm saying? And really just be positive about everything. And like, I even tweeted Stormzy yesterday, you know, congratulations on your success, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think with music and underground urban thing, we have this niche thing with Grime. It's like, what should we be like? Should we be near this? Should we be that? You know what I mean? I think like it's a time now where it's like everything's kind of exceeded. Like, it's at the stage where it's like, whoever wants to do what they're gonna do is gonna do it, as long as they do it good. You know what I'm saying? As long as they represent themselves and they're good, that's it, man. You know what I'm saying? But as long as it's good for us that, you know, we've had a black album and a black. And I don't really say, I'm not that super black screaming, but it is amazing to see that on the Brits. And
one of the first things I noticed straight away was a man went on the stage. I know this is so minor, but I see the man go on the stage and say, yeah, man, South London in the Ras Clark building. Yeah. And I bet the people in the back was thinking, what's a Ras Clark? Someone probably said, you know, yeah, it's probably like some form of a building.
Yeah, but then I felt like when Stormzy went on stage and it was raining, they're probably thinking, oh, he stole that from Sinead. Was it Sinead O'Connor? Nothing compares to you. I'm just seeing rain. I'm like, don't like us.
What's a Ras Clark? What's a Ras Clark? They must have been in the back really twiddling their thumbs, because you know what, they muted bare things like when Kendrick was on. When Kendrick was on, they muted. That was almost like the Kanye thing though. Kanye did. What was the
they nigga all day nigga.
Yeah, they just, that was basically, it was practically a mute.
That was probably worse than Styles P's verse on Rick Ross's
First time I heard the tune. On
YouTube, innit?
Which tune? All Day Nigga. That's the first time I heard it on the stage.
Yeah, I think that was the first time I heard it as well.
And then I knew it by the end of the record, anyway.
Fam, you know when I saw that, my whole life changed. Like, I remember getting that song afterwards. I knew certain man had, I've got the song. And man was like, how did you get the song? This Skepta
that's the official music video, isn't it?
I know. And then your dreads are going crazy in it.
That was a worldwide thing.
I had to put that dreads work in on that, seriously. Like,
is it? Yeah,
because you don't always get to express the dreads in the right situation. That was the perfect situation.
That was the perfect. $1,000 to see.
Because it's funny, because even if you look at the footage at one stage, you see Ye, like he was like, he went to go for me, but I was going in so much, I would have fucked him up. Yeah. He had to fall back. You know, the ones like. But yeah, man. But like, even like moments like that, like, I just think that we got more greater moments to come.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, I think the more that, like, we don't have to do this every day, but in my mental, I want to kind of see a physical thing in my head. Like, everybody's kind of got their arms together. Do you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if you like a man or you get on with a man or whatever, man. This is like, you know, I don't think everybody understands how much this is like a togetherness thing. How powerful it is to be together. And if you look at every single situation, what they do is when something gets great and massive, they cause reasons to divide you. It could be like in this music, it could be a label, it could be ends, it could be thing, whatever. But remember, divided. Together we stand, divided we fall. Do you know what I'm saying? And the more that they make gaps in our thing, and people ain't actually speaking and working together, like I said, there should be like a thing like, there should be a room in London where everybody comes like once a month, and we kind of everybody, what projects are coming, who's got something dropping, what your guy off your thing, alright, cool, on this date these projects are dropping, everybody's gonna get behind that.
I tried to do that with DJs, you know that. I think that was like what 2012. 2013, like I had a bunch of DJs and I was saying, like we need to kind of see if we could find a way to be the influencers again in terms of like what is good, because in the clubs and that, to me, you go to a lot of clubs and it's just the same shit all of the time.
All the time. They're playing the same record from 50 Cent up in the club still to now. Yeah. Like this
the same shit. Like, let's see if we could actually come together and say,
but you know what went wrong?
What do we as a joint group think is sick and try to actually break?
But again, you need to realise why it stopped before you can even get it back to happen again. Now, when certain, not naming again because it's all about name, but big corporation radios came in and made their pirate version or their B-side and said to everybody, oh, come over to our one.
Well, one extra.
I ain't said no names. You saying names, innit? I'm just saying, innit? You're saying names. I'm just saying. We all know who these other platforms are.
I'm not DJ.
But what I'm trying to say is, at the time, all these individual DJs were really thriving on the underground and really been the tastemakers, and a lot of them went over to these corporation stations and had to start playing within specialists or within playlists, and then that's when the music starts to get. Then you have a certain guys on playlists that don't live in the hood that are different. Again, not colour, class, upper class guys picking the music.
That's very true.
Yeah. And then now, because these people that are DJs want to be successful and there's a certain logo above it, I told you about the logo that people cherish, they don't want to upset those people because they might get onto the bigger one. Remember, they're at the second one now. Because that's always the promise, isn't it? Yeah, come do this for us, but we'll give you the packet after, but just do this one for us, yeah? Big man thing, yeah? And that's what they do for time, and then they rinse you, and then they sack you, then they bring in a new one in, yeah? And it's a chain, and it's a chain, and it's a chain, and it keeps happening. And that's when, and only now through social network, I think we've got a bit of the power back of bussing stuff. Yeah? But a lot of the time, that's why that kind of rush of all that pop music fizzled out, because the internet, people could get what they want now. I can play it now, what I want now. And that whole feed of what the radio decided what they wanted to give you every hour, I think people didn't care about it no more, because you know what, they're flipping sick and tired of that anyway. So now I can make my own playlist on Spotify and listen to music in the day at work, and I can connect it to work and Sonos and forget that then. And then that becomes non-existent. Do you know what I'm saying? I think only now it's coming back around again, where people are signing to labels, and then labels are connected to the radio, and they're kind of getting a bit of the power back. Not power, but, and again, it's a wave. You just got to be ready. I got my paddles. I got my waterproofs anyway. You know what I'm saying? But I've seen these waves, and they're gonna keep coming. They're gonna keep coming. You know what I'm saying? But I just want to see more UK-based music like funky house, jungle, and grime and garage. You know what I'm saying? And again, no disrespect to any other music, but I just love UK-based music. So I just think, you know what I'm saying? I think that's like what we're best at doing and what we need more of. But again, like, you know, I'm not super against labels. I'm not disabled. All I want is when you do a deal, be in the right mind state and have the right education and the right legal team, and to know what type of deal you're getting and make the right decisions, so you're not stuck in a situation that you don't want to be in. And that's all I've been. And sometimes I've had to realize as well, you have to let man make their own mistakes sometimes. Sometimes you might be trying to save a man, and he thinks you're hating.
Because
this
is, again, that goes by what I was saying before. if you're giving genuine information that you feel is genuine information, what somebody decides to do with that is completely up to them. You can't force someone to take the information and do what you want them to do with it.
No, but I've had to learn
sometimes they have to just.
I've had to learn
and
that.
I've had to do that too.
But I was coming from
Someone can ring me and say to me, "Nah, Chucks, you know what? I
100%.
think that maybe you need to look at this, and this." But I don't. I could do that, and that, only for me to realize, you know what? Maybe it was the better idea for me to do that. But I know now.